It's the final days of the Harvey Norman Black Friday sale and your last chance to get Black Friday deals. Get the Bosch Heat Pump Tumble Dryer, now just €549, saving €90. Or save €250 in the Siemens 4-Zone Hob, now €359. Plus get a bonus pots and pan set worth €129. And at Harvey Norman, we're matching all competitors' Black Friday prices, so why shop anywhere else? But hurry, the Harvey Norman Black Friday sale must end soon. Don't miss out.
This Christmas, sign up to Air Mobile and enjoy super fast 5G speeds, no limits data, unlimited calls and texts, and the new Air Sport Pack, all on Ireland's largest 5G network. And get the new Samsung Galaxy A90 5G for free when you sign up to our $49.99 a month plan. Call 1-800-500-300, go in store or visit air.ie. Air, let's make possible. $49.99 per month for existing Air residential broadband customers. 24-month mobile contracts and a minimum 12-month recontract for broadband. Fair use applies. 5G available in selected areas. For full details and terms, see air.ie.
On the first day of Christmas, Wilson's Auctions gave to me luxury goods, designer clothes and shoes, smartphones and laptops, cosmetics and a 50-inch TV.
For real bargains this Christmas, including cars, check out the 12 auctions of Christmas at Wilson's Auctions, Exit 2 on the Nace Road and wilsonsauctions.com.
So, any luck with the present shopping?
I got something for everyone. Galaxy S10e for your mum.
She'll love that.
Tab S6 for Jack.
Brilliant.
A Watch Active 2 for Natalie and Galaxy Buds for Nick. And I got €280 cashback.
Oh, that'll come in handy when you're shopping for my present.
Come together this holiday season and enjoy cashback on our Samsung Galaxy range. Purchased by the 25th of December 2019 from a participating retailer. Claim from Samsung within 30 days of purchase. T's and C's apply.
It's the got-drenched coming in this morning jackpot.
The lotto jackpot is €7 million. Play responsibly in-app, in-store or at lottery.ie. Lotto. Time to play. Estimated jackpot.
Have a cracking Christmas with Centra. We have great offers, like Jacob's USA biscuit tin, only €8.50. Coca-Cola 20-pack cans, only €8. And our cracking offer until Sunday, selected 12-pack cans like Guinness and Budweiser, any 2 for €20. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy, call sensibly.
Across Ireland. This is the IMRO Radio Awards Station of the Year. This is News Talk.
Good afternoon, I'm Tina Gates. Limerick, Galway, Kilkenny and parts of Cork will be among the first areas to get high-speed internet under the new national broadband plan. The Irish Times reports most of the network points in the first phase will be set and installed by the end of 2021 in the Midlands and East. Stephen Burke reports.
In Leinster, there'll be hubs at Louth and Drogheda in County Louth, Dunboyne in County Meath, 1 each for Carlow, Kilkenny and Portlaoise, 2 each for Wexford, Westmeath and Wicklow. In Connacht, there'll be hubs in Carrick and Shannon in County Leitrim, at Sligo Town, 2 MAO at Ballina and Castlebar, 1 at Roscommon Town and 3 in Galway. In Ulster, Monaghan Town, Cavan Town and Letterkenny will be served first, while in Munster, Carrigaline and Middleton will get the first hubs, along with 2 in Waterford, 3 in Tipperary and 1 east of Ennis in County Clare.
As part of the National Weather Service, Wexford's James Brown says air quality in many urban areas is poor, with Cork City highlighted recently as one of the worst offenders in Europe.
1,200 people a year die prematurely from air pollution in Ireland. It increases the risk of asthma, heart attacks, strokes and many other health complications.
And 85-year-old William Tilley will tonight light up Bath Avenue Gardens in Dublin's Sandymount for the 24th Christmas in a row. Mr Tilley's lights have become an annual event, raising over €125,000 for Our Lady's Hospice. He says his local pub has been brilliant over the years, picking up the tab for the power as well as adding to the funds.
I have a friend of mine, he's a manager in the Bath pub, Brendan, and they are terrific to me. I was talking to Brendan to see, right, we'll get 2 hampers and we'll raffle them, and that'll bring up another few quid. So Brendan and the management are all for this, so I needn't tell you, I'd be lost without them, the Bath pub.
That's it for now. All news updates are on our website. That's newstalk.com.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA. You can find our lowest car insurance price online, guaranteed.
Dry and blustery for a time, with heavy rain reaching the west coast early this evening and spreading quickly eastwards to most areas later this evening. Highest temperatures 10 to 12 degrees. Now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
You're very welcome back to the football show here on Off the Ball Saturday. Remember, our football coverage brought to you with thanks to Paddy Power. For information on responsible gambling, visit dunlewy.net. John Duggan with you until 5 o'clock in the company of the Irish independent football journalist Daniel McDonnell, journalist Johnny Ward, and the former Republic of Ireland and Crystal Palace defender Damien Delaney on Skype. Damien, Manchester Derby's at 5:30. How do you see it going? Will we see Paul Pogba again? He's not coming back, is he?
Never see him again, JD.
No, you will. I think you will. I think Man City will probably be too strong for United tonight, but all sort of depends on what Solskjaer has available to him, what team he picks. The midfield, I know he has problems there with Fred and Pereira, and hopefully McTominay is fit to play. But Man United are so thin on the ground with quality players that I think they could struggle tonight.
Rashford, lads, it's 9 and 10 games. The other night he was
excellent, and I mean, we spoke to Miguel Delaney after the game of the London Independent, and he was kind of making the point that I'm not sure if Solskjaer has a football philosophy in that side, as in he knows exactly. When you look at like Klopp's team, it's fairly straightforward how that team works, and you look at Guardiola, obviously, even you look at a Mourinho team, they have a kind of a philosophy that's maybe a little bit different to each other, or very different. Maybe with Solskjaer it's kind of hard to know, but I think the way Manchester United played the other night, if that's something that he's fallen upon, or if it's something he chose.
It's the consistency of it, though, is the problem.
But it's like, so if you looked at their performances against Sheffield United and Aston Villa, there was an absolute, they bore no relation whatever to the performance against Spurs, who really should have been beaten much heavier than 2-1. And Rashford was absolutely excellent. He was really, really at it. His pace was a real problem for Spurs, and I think it'll give him great confidence going into the game today. I think the Pogba situation is very interesting, though, Damien. I don't know if... Do you think, Damien, that Solskjaer is going to get a bit fed up with him and try to cash in? Because I just get the vibe from reading in the paper that he might be growing a little bit frustrated with PB.
I don't think so. I think he's probably one of the only world-class players in United's squad. And I know a lot of people will probably laugh at it and say Pogba isn't world-class, but I think he is, with the right cast around him. He's not the type of, midfield player that Brian Robson was, where he can lift the team on his shoulders. But if you put him in a good team, as you see with France, I genuinely think he is a world-class player. And United just needs to build with him and build around him, because he's too good a player just to sell.
Yeah, he is. There's no doubt he's world class. I mean, and his performances for France, when he has the right players around him. But I think whether it's his kind of his Instagram type, Insta footballer type thing,
it has to be managed. I remember at the World Cup, he was he was the real alpha male of the French dressing room. And
did you see the footage of the Didier Deschamps?
You can't really have a go with someone for being on Instagram.
No. But you know what I'm saying? That type, like when Mourinho had hardly left a minute, and he was on Instagram, kind of putting up this kind of cryptic sort of message or whatever. But Solskjaer is a good guy, so it's if Pogba believes in Solskjaer, there's no doubt he's a world-class player. He's technically outrageous, but Mourinho couldn't manage him, and they clearly weren't getting on. And Pogba was an absolute disgrace at times last season. I thought he didn't try an inch. So if Solskjaer can find him, Man United could actually become quite a decent team, because defensively they're solid. They've possibly the best goalkeeper in the world. McTominay is developing into a good player in that holding position, and if they could add Pogba to that part of the jigsaw. But it's just, I'm not sure how much Solskjaer can kind of maybe manage him and how he'll get on with him. I don't know.
Solskjaer's not going to be there in 3 months, is he?
I'm not sure he'll be gone if they've a decent end to the season. I think if they'd lost to Spurs and if they lost today, he could be in trouble. But they were good.
Keep chopping and changing.
No, that's it. I don't think they're going to keep just bringing in a manager for the sake.
Maybe that's something to prove against Mourinho, the Manchester United players. Damien, Manchester City went on 14 wins in a row to win the league last season. Are they capable of going on such a run again? They were good during the week.
In the short answer is no, they're not. They're definitely not. Can I just go back to what we were just talking about with Man United? I just think that Solskjaer's on borrowed time, and I think Pochettino, it's only a matter of time before he gets that job. As soon as he says he's ready, or as soon as he needs a break to rest his mind, to let his brain settle, and as soon as he's ready to come back, that job is his, without doubt. Solskjaer's just keeping the seat warm for him. He will not be there next season. If Pochettino wants to take a break till the end of the season, then so be it. or maybe Pochettino's going to want it in January. But whenever he's ready, he's going to take that job without doubt. And you could be well imagine that, Mourinho got the job so quickly at Spurs that obviously talks were going on previous to it, and talks are going on now with Pochettino. And it's just a case of whenever you're ready, just let us know when you've recharged your batteries.
Do we know that though, Damien? Do we know that talks are going on?
I do. I could guarantee you that's going on. Has to be. I mean, he's the only decent manager out there. I know Allegri's available and things like that, but I don't. The man that Manchester United need is Mauricio Pochettino, and I think he's going to get that job sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people at Manchester United aren't having those talks to some degree, at some level,
it's the way the world works.
They're not doing their job if they're not. I mean, talks can be anything. Talks can be talks can be.
Who won the Tingle Creek?
What's going on?
JD, did we even mention the Tingle Creek? I mean, I think you've let we spent half an hour talking about the FAI when we could have been going on about Defi Desoy and one of the best Tingle Creeks in recent memory. A race to be proud of today. An unbelievably good race. And Dan and I were temporarily distracted around about 3:04. By the FAI miss, but unfortunately
it was coming towards the end of the news, actually. That's what it was. And they came to the last fence just as the news bulletin was kind of rounding up, so we were in danger of JD starting the show and no one actually listening to his introduction because we were watching the end of the race. But
well, it wouldn't be the first time for that.
Defi Desoy on the so waiting patiently. Not quite. I mean, Johnny, you compared it to the 15 years ago Tingle Creek. It wasn't on that level.
It was a great race, though.
It was a brilliant race.
No, that race, the Moscow Flyer, 15 years ago.
15 years ago was the anniversary. Honestly, that shocked me when I heard that. I realised, have I been living this way for 15 years?
That's depressing, JD.
And I'm in my 40s now. Damien, what's your verdict on Manchester Derby tonight?
I think Manchester City, not by much. I think a 1-0 or 2-1 to Manchester City.
Jesus has been good, hasn't he? To be fair, he stepped up recently.
Yeah, they do, but I think Manchester City have got a lot of players that aren't operating at the level they should be operating at. They haven't got too many.
Why is that, Damo? Like, why
I think they've had a lot of success, and they look like a team that's bloated on success, and they should have culled a couple of big name players and brought in a couple of big name players. Now, I know that might not have been possible because I know they are under pressure with the financial fair play, and he's already gone on record as saying they won't be signing anybody in January, which is all the more reason why Liverpool will win the league, I think, because Man City aren't going to strengthen. I think Liverpool are in a position where they can strengthen, but players just don't look as motivated as what they have done in the past. And once you get one or two players in your squad that are like that, then they're not doing bad by any stretch of imagination, but they just can't keep pace with Liverpool.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week. I was actually watching. I was in Romania for the Euro 2020 gig, watching Newcastle Man City on the Eurosport channel, whereas like their version of Archie McPherson was like clearly not at the game, but commentating off tube in some like studio in Bucharest. Wouldn't even raise his voice when there was a goal if you were sort of wandering around the room. But
smoking a fag
that goal that Man City conceded, the Shelby free kick at the end, like, I've always believed that City really, if they got their act together, they're capable of going for that on that run that you mentioned. But actually, I sort of gave up after that goal last week, thinking, and Damien will notice, far more than any of us, that when a team is really tuned in and at it and plugged in and just has this momentum, that they don't concede the goal. I know it was a great strike. I know maybe if Shelby...
They were ahead twice in that game. You don't lose that game.
I know if Shelby sticks it over the bar, we don't talk about it, and the winner writes the history and all of that. But even that they just weren't alert to something like that, it was just a case of, it's just not there at the moment, whatever it is. And I think
Liverpool are eking out wins conversely, but like Liverpool are winning games that they probably shouldn't be winning. But
winning at Bournemouth at the moment, they're winning 2-0.
But it's Dan's memories of Archie McPherson and Eurosport would make you pine for the old days of
Stato as well. I remember watching like the 1974 World Cup final, the Dutch and the Germans, and Stato doing the commentary.
Well, Archie McPherson.
That wasn't live, John, was it? I didn't think you were that.
No, I wasn't alive.
How old is Stato?
Stato's actually a good age. I've met him at the race a few times, but Archie McPherson used to do like...
What's his actual name, John?
McPherson, is it?
Angus Loughran.
Angus Loughran,
Stato. Well, I used to love the fancy football on the Friday nights, but Archie was great because he would be doing this like historic programme on old teams, and he'd be like, "This was an unbelievable Dutch Cruyff!" That's like, Archie, you're not commentating here. The game was like 30 years ago.
But even as well though, or occasionally Archie would come on and go, "It's a lovely sunny day today here in Madagascar," and you're like, he's in an office in Croydon or something. Do you know what I mean? But
you're not David Attenborough, like.
Yeah, but anyway,
movement of cry.
But it's good to know that it still lives in Eurosport Romania. Anyway, it was just I was like walking out of the room and I missed 2 goals because he was just so monotone and look, they couldn't get the crowd noise obviously filtered into his commentary stream. So it was just like he'd put it on mute and decided to commentate, you know. But
Damien, did you grow up watching FA Cup finals and that? Were you into your kind of history or nostalgia?
Yeah, definitely. I used to love watching it, you know, on UTV or you know, the old ITV, whatever it was called back then. You know, I remember watching it. I remember, you know, Manchester United and Everton. Paul Rideout, was it? Scored
1995, yeah.
Yeah, 1995, and obviously Cantona with the volley against
Barry Davis.
Yeah,
the commentary, yeah.
It's one thing. It's one thing, Damo, that I think we should cherish in Ireland. That like there was so much made of Shamrock Rovers winning the FAI Cup. Like you'd nearly forget that obviously Dundalk won the league and Dundalk were the dominant team this year. But like I honestly couldn't tell you who won the last 5 FA Cups, because in England it's like nobody really cares anymore. The fans have a day out, but the FA Cup is an irrelevance.
Damien played in a few big games, you know.
Well, if you ask
he remembers them.
I'd say David Myler remembers his FA Cup. No, he valued that FA Cup appearance.
I definitely think that, man, that it's not as important as what it used to be, and that's why, you know, my experience of it will forever be cherished, because, you know, I understand that, you know, the footballing world stopped on FA Cup final day when I was growing up. You know, everybody made sure, you know, the sun was shining in May, and it was just it was Saturday 3 o'clock always as well. You know, now they're 5:20 on a Saturday evening and stuff. So I do like the FA Cup. I always have a special place for it.
We got a goal at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth against Liverpool. Peter Hood.
Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3. They're heading 11 points clear thanks to Mo Salah this time. Keita, who got the second, fed Salah in the penalty area, and he slotted past Ramsdale to make it Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3.
Leicester City, Damien. Brendan Rodgers, new 5.5-year deal. He's played a blinder this week, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done brilliant. He just left the week before. He left it. You know, he has a release clause in it, and he just threw it back onto his board's side of the court, and he deserved it. He earned it. They mean nothing, but he's got himself a pay rise and probably a nice signing on fee. So it was a good week's work for him.
It was good diplomacy in when he was asked about the potential of getting the Arsenal job. He was like, my focus is on Leicester. My focus is very much on Leicester at the moment. And you're just like, why do you need to say that? So he was playing a game and it worked.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. Goal at the New White Hart Lane. Spurs against Burnley. Andrew Cheal.
Tottenham 4, Burnley 0. No way back for the visitors. Second goal for Harry Kane. Wonderful close control on the edge of the box and a fierce, fizzing, rising right footer into the top corner. Keeper no chance. His second. Spurs leading now 4-0.
Dan has made a good point here, and if Jose Mourinho has any decency left in him, he clearly has to bring Troy Parrott off the bench here and give us a bit of entertainment.
First Premier League start.
They're 4-0 up. Give us something to talk.
Give us an Irish good news story.
You know, and it's all about the good headlines.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's a very good chance. I think it's been said that obviously they're through in the Champions League and they play in Munich during the week, so it's a possibility that Parrott could be involved in that.
Well, he said he will be.
No, like he said it, but at the same time, you know, I still want to see it. You know, like before he listed Parrott in the context of 5 or 6 other players, but does that mean start? Does that mean on the bench with 10-15 minutes to go? Who knows? But I mean, there is a chance here. I know he's got Ericsson on the bench today. He's got other more senior players on the bench. I think Lo Celso's on the bench today. But you know, you're 4-0 up at home. You're thinking about an opportunity to if you do rate someone and you want to bed them in, or even if you want to play them during the week, to give them sort of 10-15 minutes today. It could be nice. I'm just watching Robbie Brady here. I think he's just
back among the goals as well.
Come quite close. Well, not at the moment, but it would be great to see Parrott come on, get involved. I mean, it still is. I know there would be a view, and I've heard Damien speak about it before, and it is correct that there is an element of just you need to chill out a bit and let him grow and let him develop. But at the same time, you know, a 17-year-old Irish kid coming on in the Premier League game for a club of that quality, that'd be a good story.
At a time when Obafemi started last week, as did Connolly. So we've 3 under 21.
He was good during the week, Connolly.
Strikers, yeah. 3 under 21, 2 under 19. Is Obafemi still under 19?
He'd be, I think he's born in 2000. I think he's over that.
Yeah. So two starting in the Premier League and one potentially coming off the bench for a top club.
53106. Pogba has been at United for 3 seasons, has made no impact, even if the team around him is poor. That's no excuse for how bad he's been. Maradona is in an average Napoli team, yet he won 2 league titles and a UEFA Cup. That's from Owen. Damien Delaney seems like a good piece of man management from Mourinho in the last few days to get Spurs buzzing in the way that, like, Son's goal was just absolutely incredible, ran the length of the pitch and stuck it away, because Spurs were very ordinary the other night.
Yeah, Jose's got that initial bounce, and he's obviously has a good way about him. How long it'll last, only time will tell. But I definitely think he did an awful lot of reflecting in the time that he was away, and he realised that he had to change. He needed to change, and you know, when you're saying that he didn't like Pogba because of the whole social media thing, you know, I don't like that personally. But you have to understand that that's the way the world is now. That's their normality, and that times have moved on, and either you move with it, or you end up swimming against the tide, and the tide of Pogba's behaviour. So he's probably realised that he's fighting a losing battle there, expecting Paul Pogba to be like Michael Ballack or, you know, Deco, you know, solely about football, just driven, training every day. Sometimes these players now have marketing teams behind them, and this Instagram, Twitter side of the players is huge. And, you know, we can all complain, you, me, and everyone complain that it's not right and the game's gone and all this stuff. But the fact of it is, that's the way the world has gone. And you either change with it and you accept it and work as best you possibly can within that framework. Otherwise, you end up falling out with players like Pogba and you end up losing your job. So that's what modern managers do. That's what you have to do. You have to move with the times, and that's where it's gone, and we have to accept it.
So back in the early 2000s, Damien was on Nokia phones and, you know, little contact, you know, going to the Palace dressing room where everybody's on Instagram and all that.
Yeah, I found it even when I was finishing. It's now accepted that, like, phones are in the changing room, even on a match day, up until say 2 o'clock. You know, fellas will be sitting there because they have their headphones on and they're wireless headphones and they're playing music through their phone, and you can see them texting. And that used to drive me mad, like absolutely mad. I'd be sitting there going, we've a game in an hour, can everyone please focus? But then you just realise I'm the only one suffering here, because I'm the one that's arguing with people, and they're looking at me as if I'm mad. And they're going, what is the matter with you? There's nothing wrong with this situation, because that's their normality. But from where I was raised and the way I came from, it was just unheard of. So I had to learn to accept that.
What about the bus to games then, Damien? Was it a similar story? Was there any... towards the end of your career, was it just everyone sitting silently staring at their phones rather than actually talking, or what was the atmosphere?
Dan, I'll tell you now, man, right? On the way to games from a hotel to a stadium, which might be 15 minutes, 3 or 4 lads would have a portable PlayStation with like a built-in 32-inch TV on a table on the bus, and they'd be playing FIFA on the way to a game.
God. And I'm sorry, so bring me back to your first Cork City away game in the bus. What would have been going on then? Patsy Frame be lighting up a couple of smokes, or what would have been happening?
Someone was organising the slab for the drive home.
Slabs of what?
Yeah, slabs of everything and anything. Patsy was getting 40 fags for the bus for home, the couple that he'd have at half time. And, you know, that was the way the world was then. And you know, when you don't accept that the world has changed, and sometimes you just have to accept it.
It is a changing time, but yeah. God, I feel like there's more stories to be told about Damien Delaney's Cork City away trips, but maybe we'll have to return to them at another time.
Damien, you know, when you talk about like performances, and there was no impact on performances, was there?
No, absolutely none, because that's their normality. You know, if I started doing that, it would be out of my comfort zone, and I would be playing like computer games on the way to a game. That's mad. But for them, they see absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just completely normal, and you just have to accept that. And I accepted that.
Yeah, I guess if you eventually go into management, and like the young players be like, oh yeah, this lad, he was playing only a year ago, he'll be one of these young kind of modern, like, you know, arms around the shoulder type coach, and then you come in, it's a different Damien Delaney. It's more John Caulfield, I think.
No, definitely not. I would never impose what I did as a player on the new players, because some of them would look at me and think that I was absolutely crazy and this fella's not well. But, you know, if we went in as a manager, I would have to, you know, first of all, look at the group of players that you have and try and get them to a place where they're playing well, like Mourinho's done with Dele Alli. You know, for whatever reason, he was unhappy, he wasn't right, but Mourinho seems to have sparked something in him.
Just before we go and we let you go, Damien, for this afternoon, You know, when you win away from home and you're like, how would you travel back to where you were? You know, would it be good, like cracking the bus? What was the kind of the post-match kind of experience, or did you all just disperse?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, everyone would get back on the bus, and you know, depending on where you were, you'd get the train back, or you'd fly back from wherever you were. But it was the exact same. People were playing computer games on the train. People were watching movies, and some people playing cards. You know, you have a couple of dinosaurs that would actually still play cards.
Were you one of them?
Yeah, I was absolutely. But yeah, just to pass the time. But everyone has their own way of passing the time, and I always believe whatever makes that player feel comfortable, whatever puts his head in a place where he's comfortable enough to deliver a performance. I don't really care what he does.
Was there like motivational tools used? Like, was there any kind of books or, you know, any kind of like music that you listen to that kind of get you in the zone, or was it just that?
No, we would just chat, really, to be honest with you. Chat and play cards. You know. Again, the same as, you know, I was talking about lads playing PlayStation, going from a hotel to a stadium for 15 minutes. We'd play cards for 5 minutes on a bus, just get a couple of rounds in on something, just to get to the stadium, and that was it, really. But that was just the accepted way that it was, and everyone was just comfortable.
I think it's a funny thing, though, that I suppose every generation of players will always look at the generation coming after them to a degree, and they'll always talk about how the game has changed. And I mean, one of these phrases that you hear now is that there isn't as many leaders in the game now as there used to be. But I think there is an element that we're going to have to redefine some of the things that we expect of players. Like, you talk about old school qualities, and you know, he's an old school central defender or whatever. You know, you have these characters on the pitch, but it is naturally going to change. Like,
Definitely.
You go another generation. Like,
we'll be considered.
Everyone's going to be you know, they're going to have some kind of presence or tool. Or
veteran journalist Daniel McDonnell.
Well, we are like a couple of years away from dinosaur status. We remember having the old Nokia 6310 or whatever.
I remember the tape recorder.
Snake on the Nokia.
Floppy disk.
But like, you have the guys wearing the rainbow for sort of promoting like gay rights in the last couple of games of the Premier League, and this is a very positive development whereby there's still the dressing room culture in football is still very macho, and it's like back in the day, you know, I guess if you were like you think of Justin Fashanu and you know what befell him, and there was it was a tough place, but the dressing room is now a place where I think the character has completely changed, and it's like you do kind of pine for the days where there were characters like Patsy Frayne, and there were like real, like I don't think, for example, Brian Clough would get away with the manager he was right now, because it's just a difference.
I don't think managers want characters anymore, because characters have personalities. They see the world a certain way.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Managers don't want to be spending half the week dealing with, you know, my views, which you may or may not agree with. They just want kids to show up as a blank canvas, do what I tell you, and that's it, please. You know, if you do your job, we won't need characters, because we win games of football. But, you know, managers have enough.
So for example, Damien, would Gaza make it now in Premier League football?
No, because you're saying that players have changed, right? But I'm telling you right now, managers have changed too. The young manager comes out now, or like coaches, and a lot of new managers, like someone like, say, I don't know, off the top of my head, maybe an Eddie Howe, could he deal with a Paul Gascoigne? Not in a million years, you know, like, because he wouldn't have the tools or the personality to deal with someone like that. So managers now just want blank canvases. They don't want any trouble. They just want to do your job and go home. And whether that's right or wrong, or you agree or I agree, is irrelevant. That's just the way the world is now.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I have, like, and maybe it's sometimes in debates around the Irish team and so on, that like, is a product of that, Damien, as well, is that players, then they don't have the freedom to think for themselves that much too, and that like creates problems in terms of like managing a situation in a game. That I think there's, like, I've heard this view expressed about the Irish team, that some of the academy players, they've been so heavily coached, and then maybe they've dealt with management teams that went them to be a bit more off the cuff. They wouldn't be that organised, and players actually don't know how to cope with that.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing, Damien, as well, about the Irish under-21 team. When you look at them, there is, like, they are well coached, but rather unlike the senior team, they don't seem to be completely inhibited in some respects.
But there is actually a method in what they do.
Oh no, there's a method, but they have definitely. Kenny would allow players the freedom to do things, to try things. For example, you see how much Bazuna was playing out from the back against Sweden. If that goes wrong,
but he's doing that. But to be fair, he's doing that at Man City every week.
Oh, he's obviously, but like, he wouldn't be doing it in the Irish senior team.
I take Dan's point there, definitely, that, you know, if a manager can prepare a team to play a game, and if the opposition do something something completely unexpected and the manager can't get his message on, you know, there was an element of senior players would definitely have the wherewithal to recognise what was happening, figure out what was happening and kind of stem the bleeding for a little bit, you know. And maybe that has definitely been coached out of players now. You know, they just need to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. But you know, if a team is kind of coached to think for itself, but within a structure, they'll adapt and they'll survive. But the old way of doing it is definitely gone now, and I think it's for the better. Football's much better now than what it was.
Damien, we'll speak soon. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, lads. See you later.
Cheers, Damien.
Damien Delaney there, 5-3-106. Liverpool are winning, Spurs are winning. We'll be back after this.
Football on Off the Ball
with Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Shearer and Owen.
Tech Talk with Jess Kelly.
This week we'll hear why you should consider refurbished rather than new when it comes to your tech this Christmas. Plus, could ride-sharing services hold the answer to our climate versus car conundrum?
Tech Talk with Jess Kelly.
Thanks to mintplus.ie.
Listen and subscribe to the podcast now or tune in this evening at 5.
On News Talk.
Exciting afternoons with Harvey Norman. Bring the cinema home with an ultra-high-definition smart TV and surround sound from Harvey Norman. The cinema experience with no queues and no trailers.
It was the night before Christmas, not a light in the house, when suddenly was heard the click of a mouse. Then all of a sudden, with a great roar, a website appeared. The Fantasy Christmas Light Store. Don't leave it to the night before Christmas. At the click of a mouse, decorate your house. Or if you're not too far, then drive your car to Fantasy Lights, just off the Walkinstown roundabout. The magical home of Christmas.
At Fantasy Lights, you're sure to see a showroom full of fantasy.
Go to the Fantasy Light Store on fantasychristmaslights.ie.
Yeah. Our Skoda certified technicians eat nuts and bolts for breakfast. Young man, it's merely a metaphor. You don't literally have to eat the nuts and the bolts. If you're looking for a service that goes above and beyond, within reason, book your major service today, now with a set of complimentary windscreen wipers. To book, visit skodaservice.ie. No technicians were harmed in the making of this commercial.
A white-bearded man in a red suit flying through the sky at night. Smiling faces, a roasting fire, and the Christmas decorations back where they should be, on the Christmas tree. Is there a more magical time of the year? And is there a more magical sandwich than that turkey and stuffing sandwich on a Christmas night? All together now. This Christmas, there's history in the baking.
This Christmas, don't give them lifts everywhere. Give them driving lessons from the Irish School of Motoring. Buy gift vouchers online at ism.ie or call ISM on 1850 100 100.
Switch to Air Broadband this Christmas and get Amazon Prime Video on us for a whole year. Enjoy thousands of movies, TV series, Amazon originals, and the Air Sport Pack on us. With unlimited broadband for just $49.99 a month for life. Call 1-800-500-300, go in store, or visit air.ie. Air. Let's make possible. New customers only. 12-month contract. Subject to availability. Bundle activation fee may apply. For full details and terms, see air.ie/Prime Video.
The IPA's always popular Ireland Directory 2020 remains a worthwhile executive gift thanks to the breadth of its information. Stylishly produced, the directory provides information on thousands of organisations, including key personnel in both public and private sectors. The directory is available in major bookshops, priced €70, or online at ipa.ie.
Breed Graham, head of Arkfire's IT procurement business, explains why Arkfire are the go-to partner of choice for Apple.
We are the IT product and managed service partner to many of Ireland's Indigenous and multinational companies. Our clients believe in providing employees with the business tools that empower their work lives, enable mobile working and ensure the best user experience. For many of our clients, that translates to Apple and enjoying a seamless user experience across Mac, iPad and iPhone. Arkfire can deploy, manage and support your Apple devices simply and effectively across the enterprise.
Enhance your talent acquisition strategy today with Arkfire, Ireland's only Apple authorised enterprise reseller. Visit arkfire.com/Apple.
These are the sounds of the morning. These are the sounds of the night before. And these are the sounds of the morning after the night before. 10% of fatal alcohol-related crashes happen between 7 and 11 a.m. No matter how you might feel, the morning after is one of the most dangerous times to drive. Don't do it. From the Road Safety Authority.
When does a quick chat become a great conversation? When you light the fire. Whatever you're doing, make the moment even warmer with the welcoming aroma of Bordnamona briquettes.
Discover the magical home of Christmas at fantasychristmaslights.ie or at our stores in Churchtown and Walkinstown.
This Christmas with An Post Mobile, pick up the perfect smartphone from only $89.95 and get all the calls and texts you need, plus 16 gigs of data for only €20 a month. Not only will you make someone's Christmas, you'll also be making a real difference in the lives of our homeless community. Because with every new customer, we'll donate a gig of data to the shared network, helping Ireland's homeless community reconnect to society. Visit your local post office today. An Post Mobile. T's and C's apply. See onpost.com/mobile.
There's a new place to buy a Peugeot commercial in Dublin, Sandyford Motor Centre, your South Dublin Peugeot Commercial Centre. The Irish Van of the Year 2020 Peugeot partner, the Peugeot Expert and Boxer are all available with up to €4,000 scrappage and low rate finance. Visit sandyfordmotorcentre.com.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Jeff and Heskey.
Now, you're very welcome back to the football show here on Off the Ball. Remember, our football coverage brought to you thanks to Paddy Power. For information on responsible gambling, visit dunlewy.net. John Duggan with you until 5 o'clock in the company of journalists Johnny Ward and Daniel McDonnell. We've got an update from the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth against Liverpool, with Peter Hood.
Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3. The visitors here at the Vitality Stadium keeping possession, keeping control of the game. There'll be no let-up from 2 or 3 years ago when they let a 3-1 lead slip here for one of the rare defeats. And we're just seeing a shot there, well saved by the keeper. But it's Liverpool in control. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3.
Now we have scores from the rugby. Ulster leading at the moment, 15 points to 10 against Harlequins, isn't it, in the European Champions Cup. Sean Reilly and Stuart McCluskey with the tries. Munster play Saracens at 5:30. Earlier on, Leinster won away to Northampton, 43 points to 16, 7 tries for Leinster. Arsenal, guys, struggling. Worst run since 1977. What's the diagnosis there?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say on the Spurs Burnley game.
They're now 5-0 up.
We were looking for a significant Irish related substitution. We didn't really get one.
Ryan Sessegnon has just come on now, so they do have some good young players.
Parrott was on the bench there. He looked like the kid in the back of the car who wanted to go to McDonald's, but the mother was like, "No, you're not going to McDonald's. We brought you there last week. You're not going again." And he just threw he just looked really glum. But prior to that, Lennon came on for Burnley, and all the Spurs fans applauded Lennon coming on, and the battles that Lennon has had in light of our talk about the dressing rooms and all that, and the macho culture, whatever, the battles that he's been quite public about with depression and that, and it was a really lovely gesture. All the Spurs fans applauded when he came on.
Let's hear about that fifth goal from Andrew Triel.
Tottenham Hotspur 5, Burnley 0. The quality of the goals just gets better and better. This was simply glorious. Moussa Sissoko started it off deep in his own half with a powerful run forward. A dainty little 1-2 with Harry Kane on the halfway line. Just kept on going. Sissoko into the box and picked his spot calmly inside the far post. It's Tottenham Hotspur 5, Burnley 0.
Yeah, I mean, you ask about Arsenal. I mean, I just don't know what to say about Arsenal anymore. Like, it's like sort of a perpetual state of some kind of, crisis. What's going on?
FAI, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the element of like, what's going on? What's going wrong at Arsenal? And it's like, how long have people been asking that question for? It seems like it's been a permanent question over like 3-4 years, and maybe it's part of what it actually all comes back to some of the language we used with Damien there before we headed off about, where are the leaders? And there's always been that theme around Arsenal, that there's been this sort of softness there, or whatever it might be, a sort of a brittle sort of mental strength, and even the fact that, I mean, you see Duncan Ferguson sort of coming in and getting some kind of response, and that even when you've had that sort of supposed bounce that's meant to come your way when the caretaker comes in, and that hasn't even happened. I mean, they lose at home to Brighton on Thursday, which I think Brighton are good. or so, you know, Brighton are decent enough, but that is
Where's
actually
the passion?
the type of game.
The Emirates.
Well,
There's more passion on Arsenal fan TV than there is inside the
you
stadium.
are a big fan of Arsenal. Like Lundberg said after the game.
I'm not a fan of it. I'm actually not a fan of it. But
it's good TV at times.
But it's
no, I hate it.
Well, it wouldn't be for me, but
it's entertaining.
Lundberg's comments after the game were, we didn't want to play. So, like, if you're coming in, and he basically said in the first half, the players just didn't actually want to play. And we spoke about characters. That Arsenal dressing room seems completely bereft of leaders, of characters, and defenders. And they're just a flaky football team, really.
And they have been for a long time. I think since David Dean left the club, Arsenal have not been the same.
Yeah, David Dean.
2007.
Yeah, and I like, you go back, in fairness to Wenger was a revolutionary manager in the Premier League.
For the first 10 years.
He changed the culture, and like I suppose, like some managers, he overstayed his welcome a bit, but that kind of softness that obviously crept in over
Harlem
time.
Globetrotters style of football.
Yeah, which was great, but in the early Wenger teams, obviously he had like real leaders, Tony Adams, Vieira, Petit, proper players.
Maybe those leaders aren't. The point is that those leaders aren't going to be there anymore. Anyway, as we discussed, you know, like that it's going to be people look for those type of characters, but actually, you know,
maybe they're going out of the game. I don't know.
It's about then maybe actually having a real, as I said, really well coached, drilled team that know, you know, that is able. But Arsenal doesn't really have any. Even maybe the concern the last sort of year or two is that it's actually not even clear what the identity of the team really is. You know, that there's for example, they spent, you know, 70 million on Pepe during the summer, and it was about, you know, okay, well, and then there was obviously sort of Willock and Guendouzi, and there have been moments where they've played well for like 2 or 3 games, and people are like, oh no, actually, yeah, you can see there's something building here, but that just hasn't been the case at all. But again, and I honestly thought that Rodgers would have gone for it if the opportunity had come his way, and it was pretty wrong to say that. And I think it was Nathan or someone else objected, saying, well, why would you know, when Leicester, for example, have a much better squad? Which is a sort of a stark thing, you know, to actually think that it's actually just recruitment over a period of time, and that for whoever who goes in there now, like, it's not just going to be a quick fix in any shape or form at all. It's actually going to be that's a proper job for someone there.
The stadium they play in, though, and in London, like, it should be a seriously attractive place for any player to go still, and it is. It's just, I don't know, the next appointment's going to be big.
And will the new boss want Sanier there and Adu there, you know, as a buffer between himself and the Cronkies?
Yeah. A lot of problems. But just on a completely different note, do you see Middlesbrough playing Charlton today in the Championship? And you know what the 2 managers are in that game?
Lee Bowyer and Jonathan Woodgate.
Yes, there you go.
What's the score, then?
It's 1-0 to Middlesbrough. It's actually badly needed for Middlesbrough if they can actually win. But just the actual, I mean, you go back. I mean, you're going back actually.
20 years.
God, almost 20 years now. When you think about it, we got the Moscow Flyers.
It's just a really depressing, like, Saturday afternoon.
Bowyer and Woodgate on opposite sides of a championship sort of, and the dugout of a championship match.
Where are you on the Robbie Keane situation? Because this was the question in your absence last week. Robbie Keane in Ireland. What's going to happen?
What was the question?
Should there be a role? We believe, doesn't he, Robbie Keane, have a contract longer than McCarthy?
Yeah. Well,
how is that going to work?
There's no chance he'll be in Stephen Kenny's management team, and that's just not going to happen.
Should he be the under-21 manager?
I don't know. Like, does he really want to be the under-21 manager? I mean, that's the key question.
I'd imagine Tom Owen will be promoted. Maybe to that
you would
job.
think that. I mean, look, Stephen Kenny was dropped in there, so why wouldn't he be dropped in there, I guess? But it depends. I mean, like, the 21s wouldn't be a particularly... I mean, you go back to the previous discussion, the 21s shouldn't be that well paid a job, so it's not going to be, it's not going to be sort of a massively lucrative role for whoever goes into it. I mean, Stephen Kenny only took it because he was promised the senior management job afterwards.
Fair play to John Delaney on that score.
Yeah, what a guy. So it's about sort of being, you would think it's been part of a process. So is that going to fit in with Robbie's career path? If he's a number 2 still at a championship club, does he want to manage himself? Like, the 21's role, as we see, is a very important job. So by all means, if he's very invested and that's where he would see his future, then by all means. But I don't think it should be handed to someone as a leg up the ladder. You know, I think so it's a difficult one. I mean, it is certainly something that it's a situation that has been inherited, and it's very unorthodox. And again, you do wonder about how this decision-making process really worked at such short notice that you have a situation where it's very uncomfortable for Stephen Kenny, it's uncomfortable for Robbie Keane. Okay, maybe it's comfortable that they have the contracts, but that you have this environment created where like this is just an awkward one that's hanging over him, because like Robbie Keane is a legend and and
has surely a positive role to play for.
You would think that there's a role for him to play, but I mean it has to be a role that everyone is happy and comfortable with, rather than just being a solution to a problem. Like, you know, the 21s can't be a solution to a problem. We now see that it's an important one, and what like you need is a very strong working relationship and link between the senior manager and the 21s and the coaching staff down the line. And I don't know, I'm not so sure if that would be an absolutely perfect union, to be honest.
Manchester City play Manchester United at 5:30. We got the teams from Darren Stanage.
It's an attacking United lineup. 2 changes from the win over Spurs. Luke Shaw starts. Anthony Martial also fit, with Young and Greenwood dropping to the bench in a 4-2-3-1 formation for United. As for the host, 1 change from the win at Burnley. John Stones starting ahead of Otamendi. Gundogan available again. He's on the bench. City know they need the points to cling on to Liverpool's coattails. This is a brave team selection from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but United have fared well against the better sides this season. At the Etihad, City against United.
Liverpool,
game,
yeah, it is. I'm looking forward to this evening. Liverpool leading 3-0 away to Bournemouth. Spurs hammering Burnley 5-0. It's goalless between Watford and Crystal Palace. Everton beat Chelsea 3-1 earlier today. We're back in a moment.
Get with the programme. Update the News Talk app now in the App Store or Google Play Store.
Some products in the shops will do anything to convince you they're Irish. But unless they carry the Love Irish Food logo, you can't be sure. The jig is up, lads.
Much of the food that we buy in the supermarket is imported, so consider what you're buying before you buy it. When shopping, look for the Love Irish Food logo. Love Irish Food, supporting local business, jobs and communities.
Make it festive this Christmas at Woody's. Get merry and bright with LED lights, now half price. Add some festive cheer with artificial Christmas trees, up to 50% off. And deck the halls with all Christmas decorations, now up to half price. Woody's. We're all homemakers. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
It's time to trade up to a new Peugeot at Gowan Motors, Navan Road. Right now, selected Peugeots come with Peugeot Drive Time. That means flexible payment options, 5-year warranty, and up to €750 deposit contribution or up to €4,000 scrappage allowance. Available now at Gowan Motors, Navan Road. Terms and conditions apply.
3, 2, 1. Lift off!
What have you done with my OCT eye scanner? I'm supposed to be doing an eye scan with Mrs. Green.
We launched it, like you said.
I meant launch it to the public, not on a rocket. You know, by telling them how it takes a hospital-grade 3D image that could help detect eye conditions up to 4 years earlier.
Oh, sugar.
And that it's available at Specsavers.
And now also in outer space?
Introducing our most advanced eye exam with OCT scans. Search Specsavers OCT to find out more. Charge applies. OCT available at selected stores.
This Christmas, sign up to Air Mobile and enjoy super fast 5G speeds, no limits data, unlimited calls and texts, and the new Air Sport Pack, all on Ireland's largest 5G network. And get the new Samsung Galaxy A90 5G for free when you sign up to our $49.99 a month plan. Call 1-800-500-300, go in store or visit air.ie. Air, let's make possible. $49.99 per month for existing Air residential broadband customers. 24-month mobile contracts and a minimum 12-month recontract for broadband. Fair use applies. 5G available in selected areas. For full details and terms, see air.ie.
The IPA's always popular Ireland Directory 2020 remains a worthwhile executive gift thanks to the breadth of its information. Stylishly produced, the directory provides information on thousands of organisations, including key personnel in both public and private sectors. The directory is available in major bookshops, priced €70, or online at ipa.ie.
Home is Christmas. It's the heart that holds everything. Where homework gets done, where Santa has a chimney, where parents say, everything is going to be all right.
But what hope do children have without a place to call home? No child should have to face this nightmare. And that's why Threshold is working harder than ever this Christmas to save families from homelessness.
Please, this Christmas, help a parent say, everything is going to be all right. Support our special At Home for Christmas appeal by visiting threshold.ie.
Last chance for our Black Tag sale at Curry's PC World. Get your kitchen ready for Christmas with great deals on a huge range of premium kitchen appliances. Trade up to a large screen TV with massive savings on brands like LG, Sony and Samsung. Pick up the perfect gift this year with wireless headphones, smartwatches, gaming and more. And we've got unbelievable offers across the store with big brand laptops from $149. We won't be beaten on price, so get in store or online at currys.ie. T's and C's apply.
Have we simply had enough of this government? In this week's Sunday Independent, the final days of the doll that wasn't there. In Living, what really happened when the stars came out for Barry Egan's glamorous Christmas party? Rachel Allen's new ideas on Christmas baking. Lucinda O'Sullivan picks the best spots for festive wining and dining. And how to make the perfect Irish coffee. Plus, Kevin Myers talks candidly to Niamh Horan about accusations, repercussions, and years of sleepless nights. The Sunday Independent, the complete read.
How's your design meeting?
Bamboozling. Lots of acronyms. They need an EPS of the prototype, a PST summarising R&D, and high-res JPEGs. I am so OOMD.
Wait, what was the last one?
Out of my depth. Don't text your mates.
I'm calling Snap.
At Snap, we're your graphic design experts. So let us translate that complicated jargon into on-brand artwork. Logos, visual storytelling, or campaign creative. We'll do the work. You take the credit.
You say design, signage, display, digital, print. We say easy. Snap.ie.
It's the God-drenched coming in this morning jackpot.
The lotto jackpot is €7 million. Play responsibly in-app, in-store or at lottery.ie. Lotto. Time to play. Estimated jackpot.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Jeff and Heskey.
And you're very welcome back to the football show here on Off the Ball Saturday. John Duggan with you till 5 in the company of Daniel McDonnell and Johnny Ward. And we got great news, lads. Troy Parrott has made his first Premier League appearance for Spurs.
Not only that, but which I'm surprised at, he's the youngest player to play in the Premier League this season. It would seem he's 17 years and how many days?
He's born in February 2002.
It hasn't been a great week for Irish football, but to see Troy Parrott, and he seemed to get a great reception from the Spurs players and running around
himself. He came on, he blessed himself.
Brought a bit of the young God into it.
He wasn't even born when most of John Delaney's born were first appointed. So there we go.
Wearing number 52.
I wonder how many bank accounts he has. But, no, it's
he's going to need a couple.
You know, the one thing about it, you're a Spurs fan, Giddy. I don't know, what are the Spurs fans like? Are they good for the old chants and like getting behind the team? Do they have a good kind of...
Oh, no, we're good fans. We're not as bad as Arsenal.
But well, obviously. But you know the way like supporters have chants that they kind of repeat over and over until it fizzles
He's magic, you know. Mauricio Pochettino was one of them.
And then you keep chanting it. Troy Parrott, by his very name, like Parrott. So like there must be an amazing Troy Parrott chant that we haven't heard
football fans. Football fans are very witty. And
they are. In fairness, they are. I remember one thing about the League of Ireland, and as much as when I was a kid watching the League of Ireland, the games were pretty crap a lot of the time, to be fair, on bad pitches, not great football. But geez, the fans were great crack, like really great crack, and you'd nearly go there for the banter. You might watch 70 minutes of rubbish to be a goal, 20 minutes of decent football, but great cracks like another. Ollie Byrne had come in, and Ollie Byrne from Shells, and Ollie'd be having the banter with the opposition fans, and you'd be roaring abuse at him, and all in good fun.
Now everyone just tweets it.
Yeah,
it's quite a support, like it's a London support base, obviously, and a kind of a home counties UK support base. So.
But he looks the part, Troy Parrott. He
just scores goals. That's what he just does.
He's been described as having a movie star quality about him.
He's got a physical presence.
Yeah, there's a big debate about where Troy would actually still end up playing over the longer term. You know, that will he actually? It's interesting here because Kane is still on. And Parrott is more advanced, but you know we've seen with Stephen Kenny's 21s team, he's played him on the left, you know, sort of a front three. At times he's played him as the number 10 as well, with Adam Ida, you know, as the number 9, the more sort of a certain type of number 9 that Stephen Kenny sometimes likes, who sort of runs the channels and brings other players into the game. So, but you know, I was at the game where he played against Colchester, and it was a tough one for him because. You know, it was a classic League 2 team trying to deliver. Well, it was that they camped, so there was actually no space.
Yeah,
so
he had two good chances.
Parrott kept coming deep to just try and get involved and get in the game. Whereas actually now, Burnley, City's come on, to be fair. Burnley have had the ball for most of the time, but actually you're kind of hoping before. I mean, this is sort of junk time really in the game.
5-0 Spurs are leading.
But you're kind of hoping that maybe he might get some chance to sort of stretch them a bit before the end and get some attacking movement.
Well, he will play against Bayern Munich, I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, no,
they've already qualified for the last.
That's pretty amazing considering like his physical development. He's obviously
he's just
made a pass there actually, John.
Parrot watch.
Yeah,
this is how excited we're going to be. The amount of crap headlines is going to be about him over the years. I mean, you've got Troy and you've got Parrot, so you've got great options. Wooden Horse of Troy.
Parrot.
John Troy.
Parrot from the double.
Yeah. It's just endless, really. And headline. Troy Harder. I'll give him. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Troy Hard.
53106 for any Troy Parrot related headlines. But
we're really running out of gas here, aren't we, folks?
Yeah. It's almost 5 o'clock, so we're fine.
10 minutes to go. If you
send them in, we won't read them out.
If you're still listening, you really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But there was a guy in the bookies. I remember. His gag used to be John Parrott was playing last night. John Parrott was playing, and he would just say this over and over and over, and for some reason we found it funny. But Troy Parrott, I mean...
Were you that guy, John?
I did find it funny.
I'm pretty sure you were the guy who possibly said it.
Barry the Bowes fan, you know him?
Oh, I do, actually.
Yeah, Barry used to come in, and he loved the John Parrott joke. But all joking aside, it's exciting at the end of a terrible week that we have a 17-year-old coming on for Spurs, and Mourinho just might actually give him a chance.
Yeah, it's sort of. I always thought with Jose, I know he doesn't have a reputation for being a manager for young players, and that may be so. But I did feel that like Troy is so young as well that there's no panic about that. I mean, I'm not even saying this to be negative, but it's probably likely Mourinho mightn't be there in 3 years anyway, given the shelf life of his managerial career. So he just needs to use his development. And if it's possible that his face didn't fit, then he's got a chance. That can be your catalyst to get out and get some loan football somewhere. Yeah, whatever. So now, best case scenario is that he continues his development. He's around the first team squad and he gets these games. But if he does go out and sign players in January and in the summer, which I think you would expect, and he's
offensively they'll be signed players.
You think so? But he's got probably players he has to replace in other areas.
Gary Lineker's tweeted, "Parrott on for Spurs, loves playing off the shoulder of the last man."
And so it begins. Yeah.
So Gary, of course, would have a good relationship with tweets about Irish people.
Yeah.
But so we'll see how it goes. But no, exciting times, and that if indeed he does play against Bayern, that's a game I think we should all, as Irish football fans, try to watch and see how he gets on, because we don't have many Irish players playing Champions League the last 10 years.
No, well, in terms of for English clubs, it's been quite some time since we've had a sort of a player at an English club involved in Champions League games. So.
We have the full time. This is an 11-point lead now for Liverpool at the top of the Premier League. They've beaten Bournemouth comfortably at the Vitality Stadium. Reporting Peter Hood.
Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3. The Merseyside juggernaut that is Liverpool rolls on with another comprehensive victory. The unbeaten run now stretched to 33. Thanks to goals from Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita and Salah in the space of 20 minutes either side of half-time. They were always in control, were the visitors. Their goalkeeper had little to do throughout, and even though they lost Lovren to injury, and so did Bournemouth, they were hindered more by the loss of Ake. It finished Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3.
Really great news coming in from the Kingspan Stadium in Belfast. It's now Ulster 15, Harlequins 24. That's in the European Champions Cup. Earlier on, Leinster 43 points to 16 winners over Northampton at Franklin's Gardens. We had commentary of that for you on Off the Ball. It's a 5:30 start for Munster's game against Saracens. Munster really need to be winning that at home.
Here's one for you now, JD. I'll put it to you. What are the pubs going to show?
Oh, the Manchester Derby.
I'm not sure about that.
North of Offaly. South of Offaly.
Even in Dublin, it's strange, the trends.
That's because you're spending a lot more time in Rathgar, John, though, to be fair.
No, I'm talking about city centre taverns here, Dan. If you go into...
You've definitely changed your...
Surely now, Johnny, in the pubs...
You're more D6 than D8 now.
Surely now the pubs around Dublin and the rest of the country, they do have 2 televisions where you've got the option.
I put it to you, right? If there is a TV shortage type situation, there will be an awful lot of pubs, perhaps even a majority of pubs in Dublin showing the Munster game. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
That far, John. You're going way too far. You have to take all of Dublin into consideration here. You're going to have to go down to
This is rugby country.
You're going to have to go to your preferred postcodes here. To be fair,
This is Tottenham country. They've beaten Burnley, Andrew Teal.
It's Parrot country.
Tottenham 5, Burnley 0. Spurs roared into a 2-0 lead inside 9 minutes. Harry Kane from 25 yards and Lucas Moura a 2-yard tap-in. Son with a 70-yard Olympic sprint and a cool finish made it 3 at the break. Son was unstoppable all game. Kane crashed in number 4 from 18 yards, then set up Sissoko for number 5. Brady did head against the bar for Burnley in the first half, but Spurs were rampant throughout. Spurs 5, Burnley 0.
And we also have a full time from Vicarage Road, Watford and Crystal Palace with Mike Lawrence.
Watford 0, Crystal Palace 0. Watford caretaker manager Hayden Mullins hands over the reins to Nigel Pearson, having picked up a valuable point and kept a rare clean sheet against his former club. Roy Hodgson's injury-ravaged Palace side just couldn't find a way to break down the Watford defence in a bad-tempered game between these two old rivals, but with little in the way of quality. Watford looked most likely to score, but Delafeu and Sarr both missed golden chances. Watford 0, Crystal Palace 0.
I've just had a lovely little moment there that's kind of made it all worthwhile. Jose Mourinho's went over to Troy Parrott, gave him a big hug and gave him the match ball.
Did he?
His first game. So it's
Are you allowed to keep the match ball if you don't score a hat-trick?
Because, I don't know. But
he doesn't have it now.
He's now lost the ball. It's like as if one of the senior players has taken it off. Can we just get another shot of the Troy Parrott watch?
Johnny, I feel that Johnny is going to replay this moment many times. This is the moment that your relationship with Jose Mourinho changed. I think he's a great fella now, do you?
I like
Oh, do you? Okay, yeah.
Duncan Ferguson's the man of the day.
Can I just distance myself from his previous comment that it will not be, no one here actually believes that the majority of pubs in Dublin will be showing that game later. Just a small subsection of Dublin that Johnny now frequents. You're already been listening that he frequents properly.
Duncan Ferguson is the man of the day. 3-1 win for Everton against Chelsea. He was going absolutely spare down the touchline, hugging ball boys. It was great fun.
You gotta love Big Dunk. I mean, Dan is reminiscent about.
He wears the suit. You see, he brings it like JD here himself. But he wears a suit. It's a bit of status with it. Duncan Ferguson on the sideline. He's wearing a suit.
Where's your suit?
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's what we should all do every week.
United colours of Benetton or whatever it is.
Yeah, we need to bring a certain degree of class here every week.
I'd be a stop for nostalgia, JD, and to see a lad who, when I started following Premier League, and Big Dunk was the man that I always feared when Everton played Liverpool, couldn't handle him at times, and to see him do that stuff today, and the fans love him. It's nice to see. It reminds us that we're old, but we're not that old.
Don't be a burglar, whatever you do, if you ever encounter Duncan Ferguson. Just
don't be a burglar anyway, JD.
Don't be a burglar.
To be clear, there's other reasons not to be a burglar.
Duggan distanced himself from burglar remarks.
Distance myself from any kind of burglar. I'm a good, clean.
Are we going to mention your song?
I'm a good, clean, honest living man. I sang this charming man during the week in one of these pubs that would show a Manchester derby and not a Munster game.
53106. Who wants JD? We've 2 minutes left.
2 minutes.
Who wants JD to sing?
Leeds have beaten Huddersfield 2-0 earlier today in the Championship. A result: Blackburn 1, Derby 0. Result: Cardiff 3, Barnsley 2. Result: Hull 2, Stoke 1. Middlesbrough 1, Charlton 0. QPR 2, Preston 0. That's a result. Reading 2, Birmingham 3. That's a result. And a few later scores: Fulham 1, Bristol City 2. Luton 2, Wigan 1. Sheffield Wednesday 2. Brentford 1. That result has gone in from Luton. Luton have now beaten Wigan by 2-1 in the Championship. But Leeds, you'd have to think, might be top of the table tonight.
Yes.
They're going to be top of the table. I correct myself because West Brom are playing tomorrow. But you'd have to think they'll be in the Premier League next season, which would be great to see a great club like Leeds back in it. I actually have the single of this charming man. I bought it when I was about 17 or 18 years of age.
On a
John,
vinyl?
you've got a beautiful voice.
Vinyl?
That's the reason I'm sitting here.
Vinyl?
I do it in vinyl, yeah. It's got a picture of Frank Actor on it.
Yeah. Morrissey, some man.
He was some man. He was a great man.
Enigmatic type.
Well, many English people are. Irish, whatever you want to call it.
Guys, thanks so much for today.
I've just got to leave with one line. There's only one JD.
Well, welcome. I don't know what I'm going to say to that. All I can say to that is that Joe Malloy will be joined for the pay-per-view tomorrow on Off the Ball. And then we'll have a couple of commentaries. We have Brighton are playing against Wolves.
You've lost your train of thought, JD.
I have, yeah. Nathan Murphy.
The other JD would never do that.
Murphy, no, we can't be doing that. Nathan Murphy and Gary Breen, and then live commentary of Connacht's Heineken European Champions Cup game away to Gloucester with Neil Tracy and John Muldoon. Thanks for listening to Off the Ball today. We'll speak next Saturday and we'll speak tomorrow at 1. Bye-bye.